another Hungarian Grand Prix on an exciting Grand Prix. A very funny and exciting Grand Prix we had in Hungary today. 310,000 in attendance all through the weekend, which is like a blockbuster, is the highest in Hungary in recent years. Like we said yesterday, Lewis Hamilton 3 plays grid penalty, Kimi Antonelli 3 plays grid penalty for both of them in the race, and Ferrari opted for soft tires to start the race to jump others so that they can have track advantage. Then from there, undercut, make it through. But for Ferrari again, in some part of their strategy, they failed their two drivers. It was so funny. Congratulations to Lando Norris for winning. Congratulations to him. A bad one for George Russell. It could have been more interesting in front if George Russell had been able to start very well, because he had anti-stall issues on his engine. He went from his position to 18th, then he crawled back up. But running in between the midfield is always an issue. Running between the midfield is always an issue, and overtaking, they would frustrate you. We saw that in the race, the way Oscar Piastri was frustrated during the race. Oscar Piastri had a good race today, was able to jump his teammate right by turn 3, Lewis Hamilton corner. He was able to get ahead of Lando Norris, and from there, he had a good race. Undercut his teammate twice. The second time, he was going to lead. Then, the duo of Carlos Sainz and Lance Stroll, in which they were not giving penalties. They gave himself and Lewis Hamilton the toughest time of their life, and Lando was able to get ahead of Oscar Piastri, which was painful to him because both Piastri and Lewis Hamilton were dropped into traffic, and that traffic really affected them in getting back the position. And also for Ferrari, because of track position, they pitted Lewis Hamilton onto soft. I don't know why they had to pit him. I don't know. Pitting him, he got 5-second penalty, lost position. If he had stayed ahead of Max Verstappen, he would still be ahead. That is it. He will be ahead of Max Verstappen. He will be the one to come second. He had fresher tires. He had better tires, and he had tires which is relatively better than the softer tires on Max Verstappen's tire. He could have easily come second or given Lando Norris a run for his money, but Ferrari pitted him. So let's quickly run down the whole event in the race. Every other person in top 10 started on medium, except for Ferrari, the two Ferraris, to gain track position. But unfortunately, Lewis Hamilton had a good one. His teammate, Charles Leclerc, was bumped in because he started on a used soft tire, while Lewis Hamilton started on a new soft tire. Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, to me, is a win for them because both were able to control the race ahead. Max Verstappen got in between the McLaren and the Ferraris, and he gave the Ferraris a bit of their life. It was a bit of their life. And one thing about sister teams and teammates working together, we saw that to the benefit of Red Bull. Liam Lawson helped Max Verstappen. Isaac Aja helped Max Verstappen. And those helps really helped Max Verstappen's race today. His race was great with those help. Liam Lawson helped him to overtake Lewis Hamilton after the first pit stop edge. Isaac Aja was able to hold Lewis Hamilton and Oscar Piastri back to give him edge. Even Charles Leclerc. That was Isaac Aja's job today. And those little helps helped Max Verstappen in maximizing his race, and he was able to do the stops. They were calculative, as in Red Bull, they were calculative. Every stop, they dropped him right where he needed to be dropped. Not in traffic, not where it does not favor him. Meanwhile, Ferrari were dropping their drivers in traffic. Anyhow, they were dropping their drivers in traffic. Ferrari should have understood that track is a very difficult track to overtake. So when you can't overtake, it's easier for you. When you know you cannot overtake, it's very, very easier to make sure you put your drivers in position. If they cannot gain position, put them in position where it favors them. You want them to quickly go out. The outlap is very important, but you are not putting them in places where they can do the right outlap. I think that on Ferrari's side today was bananas. But for Red Bull, great tactics, especially using their sister team and Max Verstappen's teammate, was great. It was perfect. And they still have shift issues on Max Verstappen's car. And I think Isaac Aja still had his own issues also, but you cannot take it away from them. They were the best team today, both in strategy and everything. They were the best team. Now, picking on Mercedes, aside from a downtime for George Russell, Kimi Antonelli did a very beautiful race today. He was able to maximize his pace. And I think having someone like Bono in his corner is one of the best things Kimi Antonelli is having present. Bono is giving him everything he needed. I'm telling you, everything he needed to be a championship character, Bono is giving him, and he's getting it free. And with the way Ferrari is going, they are going to make the championship slip away from Lewis Hamilton. They had the opportunity of pitting Lewis Hamilton for the championship against Kimi Antonelli because he's their leading driver. Give him all the opportunity. Let Charles work for him. If they really want to win, to me, it's just common sense strategy. Charles Leclerc works for Lewis Hamilton this year. He wins championship. Lewis Hamilton help Charles Leclerc win championship next year. Or vice versa. Anyone that makes sense for them, they should do it. But putting these guys together against Mercedes and now a resurgence McLaren is going to be a very difficult one because in all the mix, consider the factor Max Verstappen. If you cannot consider the factor Max Verstappen in all this, it is hitting brick wall on all sides for them. They are going to hit brick wall on all sides because of his contract with Red Bull and the way he will push his car and make sure Red Bull also help him push. Is going to be a flawed character for Ferrari. Though they have improved in strategy in other things, but they have not really gotten it. Seriously, they are still way back because they can be making simple mistakes like this and it's costing them wins, it's costing them points. Then they have a long way to go, a way long way to go. Oscar Piastri was unable to end the race. He had gearbox issue that put him out, which was a bad one. For me, it was just the whole story of his race. He did a very good race, but gearbox put him out. Valtteri Bottas also was out because of brake issues. The Aston Martins did a great race. They had a great race today, at least did a lot of laps. Yesterday was a great qualifying for them. Alonso going into Q2. Today, Alonso was ahead of the Williams, the Cadillac, and the Haas, which is great for him because all through this season, though no points, but all through this season, they've not been ahead. Now, for the first time in this season, they were ahead. That is great. It shows the upgrade is working, 16 parts on the upgrade, and the upgrade looks spicy, ready to fight, ready to work. It's a great one. So, we now know that if they're bringing the second part of the upgrade, which I think they should bring in the second part of the season. Immediately we are getting the second part of the season. From the data they have, they bring another upgrade to drive the car forward in the fight with Racing Bulls and Alpine. I think that will be the best place to fight now because if they are missing that point, then it's going to be a disaster for them. That being said, great race for Aston Martin, but for Williams, as and Cadillac are bringing upgrades. They are really trying to get the car to work perfectly. Yeah, they're a new team and you can't take it away from them. They've really impressed. No points yet, but they've really impressed. So I think they are doing a good job. They just need to catapult it or reverse it more in a much better way to do a better job. So they need to bring more upgrades on the car, especially for Williams and Haas, because they are really out of position and they would suffer. Seriously, they are going to suffer because if they are not being where they need to be, it's a huge setback for them. If they are not where they are meant to be, they need to be in the fight with the midfield teams and get maximum points. They are not in the midfield. They are right at the back. And they being right at the back is 1 lap, 2 laps behind, which we saw today again. The midfield, a lot of them were 1 lap behind. Even the Racing Bull were 1 lap behind. And that is not the story we should be having around this time. So, second part of the season, I think a lot of people should bring a lot of upgrades, close up. The front runners should close up so that we can have more interesting race. The midfield too can close up and they can only close up through upgrades. I know some teams are lacking the financial standing like Williams, Haas, but that's why they are buying their time before they bring big upgrades and they want to bring upgrades that will change their season. Also, they are looking at bringing upgrades that when they bring it, they can at least 2-3 races, they can look for a way of getting points before others catch up with them because that's one thing with Formula 1. They will catch up with you. No matter what you do, they will catch up with you. So for me, I think Ferrari needs to work more on their strategy. They are due for the engine. The second part, they have the best chassis presently, save for McLaren that has brought upgrade and I think are ahead of Mercedes. Mercedes are right behind Ferrari now. Mercedes were the leading team. They're right behind Ferrari presently. The only thing Ferrari is lacking is the right strategy for winning. It's McLaren winning this race easily. Coming into the next race, it will be a very different ball game. I hope the Red Bull will be able to bring upgrades that will draw them closer. Now you have a 4-way battle with us not knowing who can win or who should be able to win any race or take a pole position like what we had in Hungary. Up until the end of the qualifying, nobody knows who was going to take the pole position. Even in the race today, at the point you would think Oscar Piastri will win, probably Ferrari, while Lewis was saving tires, he can jump it. But sometimes I wonder what Ferrari were doing. Lewis was saving tire, they just spoke, he should not save tire. Instead of him to say, oh, fine, do like 5 more laps, as they flog this tire for 5 or 6 laps, so you can change it. He told him, oh, don't save tires again. Then the next thing, Piam, they changed the tires. Probably they had tires were not working for him. But when he got on the second change to the hard tires, they worked perfectly. He had pace. There's still something wrong with Ferrari and also with their deployment, power deployment and saving of battery. They still need to work on that. Maybe it's a software issue. They still need to work on it also because it's setting them behind. Structures for Ferrari, the engineering part for the ERS harvesting and also deployment, then they need to work together as a team to know who needs to win. For Mercedes, I think it's going to be Kim Antonelli as it all. They need to see how George Russell can help him win and how they can, as a team, solve their own problems. The major issues they are having now is not a team issue. It's just, I think, code issues for George Russell and also being able to bring upgrades because they are now behind both McLaren and Ferrari. For McLaren, they're doing a good job, but if they keep the two drivers fighting ahead, that is going to be another issue for them because they had it last year. They were able to weather it because they had a lot of points ahead of everybody. If they go through that this year from where they are presently, they are going to miss it and they are going to miss it big. For Red Bull, I think Red Bull is doing a perfect job. They need Max Verstappen to get points and Max Verstappen is doing just that for them. That's what they need and he's doing that job for them. So I think they don't have a problem. Alpine, great job. They keep improving the car, but they are not yet in the league of Racing Bulls. They need to get in that league. Racing Bull, great job, especially from Lindblad. Is a great person to look at. He's driving his best race recently, and I think the job he's doing for the team, you can't take it away. He's doing a very great job. All in all, coming into the next race in Netherlands, the Dutch Grand Prix, I think it's going to be very interesting to see teams that have learned bringing upgrades to really catapult the experience the fans have. But again, great race in Hungary. It was a bittersweet end for Ferrari because they really pushed themselves out of the points, the great points. Lewis Hamilton could have come second in the race. Charles Leclerc could have come probably third or fourth, but where they put themselves, and they even gave Lewis Hamilton penalty because the penalty was self-inflicting for them. And to Antonelli, great job. Lando Norris, congratulations once again. See you guys in the Dutch Grand Prix. I love you guys. Bye. Cheers.